Hello, everybody. Oh, I hope the sound is okay. I chose not to do my earbuds today. So hi, welcome to Parenting Through Ascension. If you are new, if you are already subscribed, welcome back. I appreciate you watching all my videos, or one or two, whatever you can do. I know the title of this one is kind of weird, Parenting Through Ascension. Because I thought it was funny because I realized that I've done very few videos specifically on parenting. And I've just been sharing my journey and as a parent. And so hopefully that is still, provided some good information and just some guidance for you guys. But I wanted to actually talk about parenting in this one, which I know crazy. So I have 4 sons. Ranging in age from 23 down to, he's going to be 9 tomorrow. So 23 to 9. And I have 2, and I just was doing a lot of research on this, although I knew, obviously I knew that they are star children like I am. But after doing some research, I realized that I have 2 indigos. My first and third are indigos. I don't know what's going on with my hair right here. My first and third are indigo children. And then I have a crystal. My 19-year-old is a crystal. And my 9-year-old is a rainbow. And I was like researching all this. And if you read it, Dolores Cannon, who is now passed, but her stuff is out there everywhere. She has amazing information on it. I tend to resonate with her information on it more so than others. She puts dates out there, like when these children were born, although that is not hard and fast. Because I know, like for me, everything says, oh, well, indigo children. There were a few scouts, they call them, in the 50s. I want to say the 50s, yeah, in the 50s. But then the real influx of indigos began in the 70s. Well, I was actually born in 1970. And so I'm kind of right at the beginning, but I know for a fact that I'm an indigo. And so I kind of slipped in right at the beginning. I kind of snuck right in there. But the dates are not always going to be accurate. That's why I like Dolores, because if you find her information out there, and I'll try to link something in this video, but if you find her information out there on this, she lists, rather than dates, she'll put the dates, but she'll also list, characteristics. And so that's what I was going by more so than dates. And then it just happened that when I found, I'm like, okay, that's my kid. And then when I looked at the dates, it did line up. And so, but it won't always. There's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be the onesie twosies who came before or after, or, it's all characteristics. And just doing the research too, just, stuff about the, I want to say it was the rainbow children, although I like to think all 4 of my kids chose this, but the rainbow children, one of the specific things was they will not choose a dysfunctional home. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of nice. We do not have one. As far as I know, we have, my husband and I have been together 30 years, and we're very happy to embark on the next 30. And so, and we feel like we're pretty good at this parenting thing, and we homeschool and we eat healthy, and we're doing a lot right, which is, some of it's relatively new, but, we've always had a pretty strong foundation for our kids. But one thing I wanted to talk about too is just the difference between, so our oldest is a millennial, which I don't love that term, but a lot of them are using it to describe themselves. So it really is just to show you age group. He's 23. He was born in 96, which is definitely I believe it's the tail end. It's the very end of the millennials, but he snuck into the millennials. And the interesting thing was that a lot of the characteristics of the millennials carried over to the characteristics of indigo children. So if you look into that, it's like, they come in from birth, pretty much they're acting like royalty. They definitely have an air of feeling like they deserve to be here, and they deserve to be served, and they deserve to, to have everything that they need. And they are really good manifestors, and a lot of times don't understand if something doesn't just materialize the minute they think of it. And gosh, that described, that's millennials. That's what we like to describe millennials in that way too, when really it's describing indigo children. And so I actually have, my youngest sister is actually a millennial as well. I'm Gen X, I think. Isn't that what we are? I was born in 70. But my youngest sister was actually born, I was a teenager, and she is an Indigo. And she's, I believe, 34. She's 35. She was born in 84, Georgia Orwell, 1984. And boy, does she fit those characteristics too on both sides. Like they go for both millennials and Indigo children. So it's kind of interesting that we have this, like the term millennial has kind of become a derogatory term for them, right? Oh, darn millennials. What are the millennials doing now? When really they're Indigo children, you guys. They're magical, and they know that they are here for a purpose, and they don't understand people who don't understand that. Like they can't figure out, like, why on earth aren't you also just in that space of deserving to be here? They don't understand that victim mentality. They don't understand it. And so, which serves them in many cases, because a lot of them are going through a lot right now. The millennials, there's a lot of upheaval in their lives, specifically because they're getting ready, right? They're getting ready to take action, true, big action on their missions. I just thought that was interesting. And so I have a millennial all the way down to like I said, he's just turning 9 tomorrow. And he is a rainbow child. And when I was reading about them, they're very rare as of yet. I think more have come in now. I think this one thing I was reading that was taken from Dolores was maybe a couple of years old, but because it talked about the rainbow children being largely toddlers at the time. Well, that was probably 6, 7 years ago. And so there are probably a lot now, but back then, when he was born, it's a new thing. It's a pretty new thing. And so there aren't, they're not the largest population, but for the most part, like he was born in 2010. I would say for the most part, any child born 2010 and on has a high probability of being a rainbow child. Now, they're all star children in some way. Every single one of them is a star child. I truly believe that. There'd be no reason to come here at this point in time otherwise. Really no reason at all. And so they are all star children, like me, like you, I'm sure, or you wouldn't be watching this. And so parenting from 23 down to 9, 8, he's still 8 for one more day, has been very challenging. And what's going on with our millennial right now, I'm sorry, our Indigo, our oldest Indigo. So my first 23-year-old is Indigo, 19-year-old is a crystal child. And boy, did he fit that description to a T. I was like, holy crap. And he's away at college, actually. And I know that he'll figure it out, and I know that he's going to find his path, or realize that he's on this magical path, because we're never off our paths, right? We just get blinders put on us and we can't see what's going on. So all we see is like, oh, get to a destination, instead of living in the moment, right? But I know he'll figure it out, but he's currently at college still trying to fit the square peg into the round hole. But because that's what all of his friends are doing. So we are just supporting as much as we can. And as we are for all of our kids, we are here if they need a soft place to fall, which is what we have, what we've been doing for our oldest, who, and of course, he'd kill me if he knew I was talking about this, but he doesn't watch my videos. Whatever. Thanks a lot. But he is, 23, going through a divorce, and is an unemployed EMT. And he had been really close to becoming a paramedic, and then things with the marriage kind of exploded. So he's not a paramedic, even though he was really close to being one. And that's a whole frustration with the old paradigm. They took all of his money and won't let him finish school. And it's a shame. At the same time, it's a sign, right, that maybe that's not his path anymore. So he has moved in with us. He and his beautiful dog, Hera. And, it's all, he's kind of in that transition mode. And like I said, we're here, that's our job as parents. We're his safe place to fall. And he needed time to figure out what he's doing now. And so he moved in, and a few months ago. And honestly, I was thrilled. Moms always want their kids back in the nest. But at the same time, it's like, I'm ready for him to fly too. Like with the 19-year-old, he's 4 hours away at college, which is close. It's close, but it's not close enough to just pop in on him, which is good for both of us, right? But it's always nice as a mom to have all the kids at home. But what I have been going through as the parent too is releasing the emotional connection to their paths, to their journeys. And so that's a big one for parents. And no offense, dads, but especially for moms, because we have that physical connection. They were literally inside of us. They were formed inside of us. It is a stronger bond as far as kind of needing to be part of their lives, right, for the rest of their lives. And what we need to realize is that if we can let go of the emotional connection to what they're doing, like stop trying to control their journeys, stop doing too much for them. Like I said, we're here for a room and board, but we're not like telling him what he needs to be doing. He's figuring it out on his own. And yeah, that's costing us money, but money is just energy, you guys. Money's just energy. And if that's the least we can do for our kids, then sign me up. I mean, I want to do a lot more, but I know enough to hold myself back and to kind of discern, okay, is this helping him in the long run, or is this hurting him? Like maybe he should be doing his own laundry. He's 23, which he's actually doing right now. I can hear him out there doing his laundry. And so, yes, he's using, our machines, and it's all free. But he's still doing it. And so he's figuring it out. He's getting his feet back, and he will, he's going to be fine. Whether or not he stays the course as an EMT, I don't know. That whole, in my personal opinion, that whole, world, that allopathic medical world is going to go, it's going to transform drastically, and already is over the next just a few years, I believe. So who knows if he stays on that path. But for me, if I and I had I have help. And we all know somebody. If you're watching this video, then you know what I'm talking about. We all know someone who does Reiki or Akashic records or hand analysis or something magical that decide who you're pulled to, not just of what they do, but as a person. Like, do you feel like they can really help you if you need help doing that? Because as a parent, I know for me, letting go of especially my youngest. He's only 8 today. Tomorrow he'll be 9. He's only 8. He's a baby. In my eyes, he's still just a baby. There's still so much he can't do for himself. And it's hard for me to let go of trying to control everything he does. Now like I said, we homeschool the younger two. The older two are already, out of school, but we homeschool the younger two, and it's been interesting adjusting to the level of freedom that it gives us as a family and the kids as individuals. We let them largely guide the curriculum. We do what interests them. We do kind of hit the reading and math and chores, which is part of homeschooling as far as I'm concerned, and part of being a family. But those 3 things we kind of mandate, and the rest we just let them guide us. And so the freedom, especially for a star child, is vital. Is vital for them to have that time, that time to just be. We control the screen, the tech time, the screen time, we call it. We control, we limit how much technology they get in a day. And so when they're not on any technology, they're in their heads figuring out who they are. And that's so important. And so I forgot where I was going with this, though. But so letting go of the big message I want to get out there is I have been working on, with the help of my friend Angie Meldal, who does hand analysis and Akashic records. She goes into your Akashic records and helps you tune in and tunes into, and helps you rewrite. You can literally rewrite your story. And so we had a beautiful, beautiful session this morning together where we delved into a past life of mine, or another life. They're all happening simultaneously. And so I was able to tune into a parallel life that I am living, where I have already completely and fully stepped into my my power, my personal power. And so I get to meet me as this incarnation who has already figured it all out. And oh my gosh, her energy was just amazing. And I didn't want to leave. And I wanted to sit there and just soak it all in. And of course, it's me. It's me in another timeline. But what we focused on was, and this, other me even said, do you want to be where I'm at? You want to be so sovereign in your energy that there's just never a question about it. Like you don't have to meditate to become sovereign. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to connect to remember that you're sovereign. You just are every minute of every day. And I was like, hells yeah, I want to be you. And she said, then you have to let go of everything. You have to let go of trying to control not only your own path and your own destiny and your own life purpose, but everyone you love. And of course, my friend who said, okay, so she just told you that you got to let go of this. Is there someone that you're holding on to? And of course, it's my youngest because he's my baby and we're not having any more. And so he's it till I get grandkids, which, a decade. I'm good for a decade, guys. I don't need grandkids for a decade, although I have baby fever. But that is the plight of my mission. My mission is, they call me everybody's mom. So I start calling myself everybody's mom. And that is my mission. I am a mom. I'm here to take care of people. I'm here to care for people going through this awakening as a mother, as a maternal energy. And so I make sure you get, I'm going to make sure you eat. I'm going to make sure you sleep. I'm going to make sure you take a bath, all that jazz. It's just kind of the mom stuff. And so with that though too, it's I feel like it's even harder for me, not that I'm comparing. Too low, there goes my throat. My throat is always confirmation that I'm speaking the truth, and it's just got crazy. And so it feels like it's more difficult for me in general, being on a mission of maternal, of a maternal nature, to let go of, sorry, I'm holding my laptop. Sorry about the jerkiness. To let go of of needing to be a specific guide for my kids, needing to guide them, needing to, like, guiding them is fine, but needing to partially control their journeys. And that's not only is that detrimental to me, it's detrimental to them. And so to let it go, and we worked on that, of course, and letting it go, and I'm going to continue to work on it as my homework between our sessions. But to let it go is a process. Sometimes you can't just go, okay, there, I just let my 8-year-old child, completely, cut all the cords and everything. And that doesn't mean that we cease to become to be their moms, that we cease to, that we move out, that we're not part of the family anymore. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that they are free to pursue their own paths. And for us, for moms, it means that we're free to finally pursue ours. And that is so important, you guys. We're, as a first waver, which I know I've said that a lot, I am in the first wave of this awakening. Dolores Cannon, wrote a whole book about the 3 waves. The kids, and I don't know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the rainbow children are now in the 3rd wave. Are they the 3rd wave? But I think the rest of them are part of the 2nd wave. I'm not positive on that anyway. But as a first waver and a parent of all of these star children, and I only have 4. I mean, I know people who have a lot more, but 4 is enough. 4 is a good amount. But as, trying to parent these 4, and they're very different. Even the 2 indigos are very different from each other. And so, although they both fit the description pretty well, they're not the same person. And so and they're 10 years apart. So my kids are 23, 19, 12, and 9. And so I feel like I have to be 4 different moms. Depending on who I'm facing, who I'm talking to, I have to immediately switch gears. And so a lot of times I don't, a lot of times I fall short. And whatever, I've stopped beating myself up about that kind of stuff. But so the big message I wanted to convey was, we have to we have to release the emotional connection to our kids' journeys for our own, so that we can be free as well, not just them. And so I did learn that my youngest and I do have a pretty big contract, that derived from several past lives together, where we just agreed to, in this life, be really connected. And I'm ready to let go of that. And so I have to, because I'm ready. I feel like I'm at the gate and they've already fired the pistol and I can't get my door open. That's how I feel. So I've got all this pent up energy and I'm ready to go. I just don't know which direction to go in because something was holding me back. And of course, this wasn't my child. It was me with this connection to my child. And so even though I was ready to let it go, it's this big contract that he also needed to be ready to let go. And so I just needed to communicate that to him. And so I opened that line of communication with his soul, with his higher self and his soul, that, hey, I'm ready to call this contract fulfilled. We need to, be ready to file it away and be done with it so that we can both get going, because it's time. It really is time. And a lot of people are talking about, too, all the people that I listen to are talking about, it's time, you guys. It's time for us. Stop waiting for your purpose to be handed to you. It's time to take it. It's time to, what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like, I know these things I'm supposed to be doing. It's just my problem is I have a lot of passions and I was feeling pulled in many directions. But that was a result of this, this contract was creating confusion in my energy, because anytime you have cords or other people's energy, it's going to create this fog in your energy, and it's going to keep you from seeing things clearly. And so to clear this is going to give me that clarity that I've been waiting for, that I've been needing, because I knew I was ready to jump. I just didn't know which cliff to jump off of. I didn't know which direction to jump, because I've got all these different things going, and that's great. And I don't want to drop any of them, but there is one main focus that will drive me through this life, and then the rest will be for feeding my soul, for fun, for self-care, that kind of thing. These things that I enjoy doing. And so we have to, as a parent, parenting through Ascension, we are all, if you're a parent and you're watching this, chances are you are a parent of a star child. If you don't know, like I said, look up Dolores Cannon's, list, because she lists all the characteristics, and it's really, it's a good list. And you'll be able to tell which one your kid is. Like, I was going through them, I'm like, yep, that's my first, that's my second, that's my third. But it was kind of cool to realize that my fourth is a rainbow child, because they're pretty new. They're pretty new. They're probably all, like I said, I think he was in the first group, so they're probably all his age and younger. They're coming in. They don't need, and this, of course, has been something that my husband and I have fought against since he was born. They don't need as much sleep or food as you would think a normal human being needs. And that has been, it's not like we're starving him. Food is offered all the time. We have, because we homeschool, because we're home, because we're here and we have that freedom of schedule. We have an open kitchen. He just isn't interested. I mean, he eats, just nothing compared to my other kids. And so, and even me personally, I eat about a third of what I used to. And yes, I lost quite a bit of weight, but I'm definitely not like emaciated. I'm not underweight, but I'm eating very differently, and very little compared to the way I used to eat. So I eat mostly raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, berries, that kind of thing, and some raw dairy. But that's my main diet now, and I'm happy with it. But I need so much less food than I thought I did, and so that has had to transfer to him too. And that was another connection we had, is that we actually were connected physically. Like, I would have some health issues that maybe I didn't even say to anybody, and he would be complaining about the same thing, like digestive issues or headache or whatever. We were always so very connected, and it was that contract keeping us connected. And he was trying to take a lot of my pain. He was trying to take a lot of the stuff that I was going through. So yeah. So if you feel like you need help, if this resonates, just set an intention, meditate, get into your bubble, get into your Zen, and set the intention to release any contracts you have with the people you love, whether it be children or spouse or parents, your own parents or siblings, or even just friends that you love like family. A lot of times we can have really big contracts with them that hold us both back. And so it's time to let these go, especially as parents. We need to let our kids fly. You know, like I said, these rainbow kids, none of these rainbow kids are choosing dysfunctional homes. And so if you know that you have a very functional, whatever the opposite is, right? I guess functional, a very functional home, and you feel like you have a rainbow child, let them go. Let them go. And I'm not saying this isn't Pokemon, right? Oh, you're 10 now, time to leave the nest and go travel the world and sleep in the woods. Which my kids laugh about, right? But you know, let them. It's time to cut the cords. It's time to stop trying to control who they are. Even at these rainbow kids, even at from birth, they know who they are. They know who they are. They're not going. If they tell you they do not want to, you know, take horseback riding lessons, then don't push it. Don't push these things. Okay. So that is my parenting advice, actually, maybe for the first time on Parenting Through Ascension. I think I have done a few videos on how to help, you know, your star children, but that is my advice for today. Is it is time. It's time to set the intention to release the emotional connection to their journeys, to release trying to control who they are, what they do, where they go. And I'm not saying y'all have to homeschool. That is not what I'm saying at all. But it's time to maybe ease up on, you know, that belief that they have to be good at everything. You know, straight A's. What does that even mean? No one is good at everything, and so forcing them to be good at everything is detrimental to them. It creates confusion, it creates depression, it creates anxiety, you know, in their fields, and then you'll feel it too. And so let them figure out who they are. It's time to let go of needing to control them. That is old paradigm. We don't need to do that anymore. You know, before it was to keep them safe. Well, yes, still keep them safe, you know, in the physical, obviously. You don't like, you know, like I'm not going to let my 8-year-old go to Walmart by himself, but, you know, because that's just dumb. But I am going to let him, you know, tell me who he is, because only he knows. And he knew from birth, because he's a rainbow child. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and comment. And I do read them all. I do try to read them all. If you're watching me through Higher Self or any other, you know, if you stumbled upon this and this resonated, please subscribe and hit the bell. I would love that. I'd love you to join my little family, my Parenting Through Ascension family. So I'm going to get this. I hope I covered everything, like I said. So, okay. Oh, all right. So it's saying my internet's unstable. I'm just going to call it quits. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for those of you who hang in there with me. It's through all these videos. Like I said, if you're new, check out my other videos. You know, maybe some of them will resonate. Like, share. That would be fabulous. I would really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I love you all, and I will see you next time.